Did you know, for example, 51% of people say they'll take their next holiday alone? My girlfriend will. She doesn't know yet, but she will. 1 in 6 British grandparents plan to spend all their savings before they die. So, kill them now. And 90% of people are happy in their own company. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 3 most popular talking points. Aisling, what do you think the nation have been talking about this week?
What do I think people have been talking about this week? At a guess, I think it might well be that Donald Trump became the 45th. Was it the 45th? Or
the 45th
yeah.
president.
The final.
The final president.
But Kathy, you've met Clinton.
Bill.
You met Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
How was Bill?
Well, I was at a dinner. I kind of gate crashed a dinner. It was a 100th anniversary of Labour dinner, and there were lots of business people there, and I thought some of them might be good to interview. So I was on a table with all these business people, and we each had a box of peppermints. And one of the guys said, "I dare you to go and get Bill Clinton to sign your peppermint box." So I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, fine.
That's a bit of a risk of Bill, isn't it?
Well...
The Sonny peppermint box.
So I went over, there he was. He was surrounded by men, and obviously seeing me at the back, he reached over, winked at me, pulled me towards him, and signed my peppermints. Oh. Now, I half expected him to say, "Will you suck it and see?"
Channel 4 News, everyone. Channel 4 News.
I'm going to watch more news if that's the kind of stuff you say.
Well, let's have a look and see whether the presidential election is up there. Yes, Donald Trump is the new president. I must say, as apprentice tasks go, Trump's really nailed this one. Hillary's currently sitting in a cafe, crying into a cup of tea, trying to work out who she's going to bring back into the boardroom. Did you know, for example, 32% of women believe it's possible to communicate with the dead? So don't bother trying to kill yourself, she'll still be rabbiting on. In the UK, trousers cause twice as many accidents as chainsaws, which is true. I've had a lot of accidents in my trousers. A female mackerel lays 500,000 eggs at any one time. Slag. And 9% of cat owners claim their cat had a say in their choice of partner, and that choice of partner was not to have one. Let's get started. Top household convenience drivers would like in their car.
How about replacing the electric windows with sash windows?
And having a window box on the bonnet.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Lots of
Little
nice
flowers,
flowers.
yeah, grow your own. Yeah.
Not like using your mobiles illegal. What about a landline?
That is thinking.
An ejector seat like the one I've got in my bedroom.
You've got an ejector seat in the bedroom.
Yeah, I say it'll be very nice, but off you go. But I reckon a fridge.
That's the right answer.
Fridge.
That's basically what an ice cream van is, though.
That is an ice cream van.
But you're saying it. What am I saying?
Yes, the top household convenience drivers would like in their car is a fridge. You can get a car with a fridge and a TV and a sink. It's called a caravan, and if you buy one, he'll blow it up. OK, next one. Biggest cause of anger in Britain.
I tell you what winds me up. Oh, it makes me absolutely... You know when it's a windy day and it's raining and your umbrella ends up going like that?
Ooh.
Is it badly organised anger management classes?
Biggest cause of anger in Britain.
Is it the ratio of steak to kidney in most steak and kidney pies?
Yeah.
Very rarely do they get it right. You always go, oh, that's 2 kidneys. Or you go, where's the kidney? I didn't buy a steak pie. And then the wind picks up and your umbrella goes, you go, what a day!
OK, so biggest cause of anger in Britain.
Is it when you're in a supermarket and you've bought loads of shopping and the woman says, "Do you want some bags?" You're like, what? You know, I've got clown's trousers. I'll just whack it in my pocket.
It's a very British thing.
Queuing. People jumping the queue.
Oh, I know.
Correct.
Oh, no, it's that.
Yes, the biggest cause of anger in Britain is queue jumping. Here's a tip. If you're in the supermarket and there's a massive queue and you've only got a few items, get to the back. No one cares. Did you know, for example, 1 in 12 school children don't know who's on top of Nelson's column? The clue is in the name. Trevor Nelson. 32% of old people don't want to live. Tell you what, old people, you're in luck. 80% of women find men with cool cars attractive, which goes some way towards explaining why the last pope got so much poontang. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. Sean.
Well, I imagine they've been talking about the announcement of the Live 8 gig, which is due to coincide with the G8 summit, isn't it, in July? You know, the G8 summit where the 8 most powerful nations all get together in a room and go, everything's going great, isn't it?
I don't know what the 9th most powerful country is, but I bet they're livid.
Yeah. And they're doing a big... Bob Geldof's doing a big gig to draw attention to this, and he's been in some trouble with encouraging school kids to take a day off school.
Is he encouraging them to take Mondays off by any chance?
He's called for 1 million people to march to Edinburgh. I mean, I think, you know, this is a country facing a massive obesity crisis. I mean, getting someone to march to their newsagents is impossible enough.
But most of the kids who bunk off go, yeah, I'm going to Edinburgh, and they won't. They're going out to the park and try and get a bottle of cider, you know. Put the hooded tops up and throw scaffold tubes at hearses. That's what they do.
Well, let's have a look and see if Live 8 is up on our list. Yes.
Oh, good.
You're absolutely right. 48% of people were talking about Live 8. It was a huge talking point this week. I don't know if you've seen the incredibly powerful commercial where a child dies every time famous people click their fingers. I couldn't help thinking, stop clicking your fingers. Last night I went to a restaurant. I killed 2 kids just getting the bill. Dave, over to you. What do you think people have been talking about this week?
Big Brother is back. It's sort of indicative of the way the programme's going, that the second most important statistic they give you now when it comes on is the bust size. It's the breast size, isn't it? It's like Saskia, 34 double F. But they don't do it for... They don't do it for the blokes, do they? They don't do Anthony, 3.5 inches, on the slack.
I haven't seen much of it because I've been quite busy this week counting my rice. But the bits I've seen, I mean, you were talking there about the amount of large-breasted ladies. I was watching under the sound down. It looked like Benny Hill made a rap video. It's fantastic.
Well, let's have a look and see if Big Brother is on our list of the most talked about things this week. It is. Big Brother was always... Let's face it, Big Brother was always going to be in our top 5. They've introduced infrared cameras in the house. We're excited about the prospect of some nocturnal activity. Bill Oddie hopes to see a badger. Get fingers on buzzers. Buzz in if you think you know what the people have been talking about this week.
Japanese soldiers thought World War II was still going on. They emerged somewhere.
Oh, yes. I can tell you that was the 8th most talked about thing this week. 2 Japanese servicemen have emerged from the jungle and are said to be shocked that the war is over. They were even more shocked when Ant and Dec said, let's have a look at some of your funniest moments. 17% of British women are kept awake each night by what?
17% of British men.
Richard Madeley.
Yeah, they're there tossing and turning.
Yeah. Is it ecstasy?
I think it's a gentle but insistent prodding in their lower backs.
Come on, it's quite an obvious one.
The children.
Is it snoring?
You are absolutely 100% right. 17% of British women are kept awake by their partner snoring. If your partner does snore, one way you can deal with it is to gently roll them over. Do it 3 times, they're out the bed, problem solved. Did you know, for example, Italians drink 14 billion espressos every year? It's amazing they're as lazy as they are. A hedgehog's heart beats 300 times a minute. Is there a car coming? Is there a car coming? Shit, there's a car coming. And 18% of men admit not noticing if a girl changes her hairstyle. I should explain to those men that a girl's hair is part of the blur above where her breasts are. Let's get started. Sean, Jamelia and Josie, what have the nation been talking about this week?
Madonna's been at it again. She's adopted another child, which is fantastic news for everybody. It is odd. It is odd she's able to adopt. She couldn't obviously adopt here because she's a single 50-year-old mother of 3 who works nights dancing in her pants.
If I could get adopted, I would get adopted by Billy Bragg. That's like my dream person to adopt me. If he's out there, just...
Do you have
I make
parents?
no trouble. Yeah, I've got parents. They're great.
Will they be watching this? Going, what, we haven't written enough protest songs. What do you want, love?
I would choose Adam Woodyatt.
Wow, people
He's
have
my
actually got this...
favourite celebrity. I interviewed him once. He's #1, smiley. #2, charming.
This is Ian Beale we're talking about here.
#3...
She wants Ian Beale to be her dad.
He just seems... He's very friendly.
They're slagging Madonna off in the paper, like, but she's going to make this child's life better. I mean, I'm from Manchester, and I'm doing all right for myself, but even she would make my life better, you know, so...
Yeah, if Madonna offered to adopt me, even at this point, I'd consider it.
I'd say so.
Yeah. She's probably got things like a jacuzzi.
I wouldn't want to be adopted by Madonna, because, I mean, you would never see her, would you? I probably would see as much of Madonna as this little girl. Apparently they're going to teach her English, because she only knows hello and goodbye. That's all she needs. She goes, hello, Madonna. Oh, goodbye, Madonna. She's got a tannoy in her gym. She's on her exercise bike. She's just going, good night, kids. I love you. It's Madonna, by the way.
Let's have a look and see whether Madonna adopting a baby is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, this is the story that Madonna has adopted a second Malawian child. Already, Madonna's visit has passed into Malawian legend, specifically the legend of the scrawny witch that swoops down from the skies and steals children. Madonna had a very difficult delivery. She wasn't in and had to go down to the sorting office to pick it up. Jason, Mark and Claudia, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Is it Big Brother? It's the 10th series now, and I've always been a fan of Big Brother, but there's been a few points where I think even the voiceover bloke sounds like he's getting a bit bored. Yeah. So one day I just want to turn it on and go, dear whatever it is in the Big Brother house, one of them has said something that's upset the other one, but the other ones don't care.
Here's the thing. Davina, brilliant. The house, brilliant.
Who's your favourite housemate?
Well, then
the
problem is... Then they fill the nice, lovely house with the cool sofa and the, oh, you can come over here and make a smoothie with twats.
Are you... Sorry. Shri is not a twat. Shri is amazing. He's obsessed by this girl. He's obsessed by Noreen. He's in the same house as her, as he's obsessed by it, so it's come in really handy. It's a stalker's paradise.
Was he stalking her before the show? I mean, that's incredibly lucky. If you're stalking someone and you both end up in the Big Brother house.
There is some great bits in it, like when they were doing that dancing flower thing, Siavash said, oh, I wish we had a camera.
What gets me is that Big Brother, every year, it's like they're trying put, you know, wackier, weirder people in every year to make it more controversial. And I think that the only way, you know, it's only going to end up, you know, we're going to have, like, a killer. But no, not like an active killer, like someone who was a
Well, I can tell you that Big Brother is not one of the most talked about things this week. Big Brother continues. Shri has been very touchy-feely with Noreen, who'd prefer him to be a bit more offy. Charlie, the former runner-up in Mr Gay UK, says he dreams about being in a boy band. Or having a boy band in him, he's not fussy. Did you know, for example, 90% of people think that Christmas is too commercialised, and there's a special name for those people, tight-fisted twats. If you're watching, children, I don't want to spoil Christmas for you, but not only is Santa made up, so's Jesus. And your dog didn't go and live on a farm. Different religions celebrate Christmas in different ways and at different times. Some people in the Middle East, for example, celebrate their Christmas on September the 11th. Well, we've got a lot of Al-Qaeda in, have we? And it takes up to 15 years to grow a 6-foot Christmas tree, but just 30 seconds to lob it over the fence into your neighbour's garden on January 6th. Sean, Biggins, Jack D, what are your favourite things about Christmas Day?
Well, first, Jimmy, I'd just like to say a very Merry Christmas to you, Jimmy. I hope you have a wonderful seasonal period filled with joy and good tidings, and that Santa brings you everything you want.
Yeah. Hear, hear.
Yeah. So I guess how you'll be spending Christmas.
He gets visited by 3 ghosts.
But Merry Christmas, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Bah humbug. So, what have you got planned? What do you like about Christmas Day?
Where do I start? What about you, Jack?
It's a busy time of year for me, you know, because there's so much more joy to kill.
Let's ask Christopher Biggins.
I see something, you know, if I'm on a holiday or if I'm on somewhere and I think, oh, I'll keep that and I'll put it in this cupboard, and then it's there, you see. You don't have to go all that mad Christmas shopping at the last minute, you know.
Have you ever got anything you liked, Jack?
What, for Christmas?
Yeah, present-wise.
No. I've just, well, the thing is, you know, when you grow up, you stop being excited. I haven't been excited about anything since I was 3, and I realised it's
You've
not
been
the
like
same.
this since you were 3?
Yeah, more or less, yeah. It's stuck with me.
I sort of was about 7 or 8. I remember Christmas Eve, I was lying in bed. Me and my brothers in the same bedroom, and they were younger than me. And about 11:30, there's a weird time about 11:30 where the kids are pretending to be asleep, and the adults know that they're not asleep, but they let it go because it's Christmas Eve. And there was some sleigh bells just outside the house, and we're like a little bit excited, sleigh bells. And then my dad leant out of a window, so about 11:30 at night, he leant out of a window and he went, "Hey! I don't care who you are, get the bloody hell off my roof!" And we were in our room going, "Oh my God, it's Santa," and Dad's just him.
Do you like Christmas shopping?
No, I don't. I do it all on the internet.
You do it all on the internet?
All on the internet. It's much, much easier. You can sit there in your nice pyjamas, you know, with Santa on them, or snowmen, or whatever.
I'm painting a picture.
And just like that. I never used to trust it, but I do trust it now, because I never used to think that it would actually arrive.
But you do all the shopping on the internet, and then it turns up in about 150 different boxes with all those stupid polystyrene filling stuff, and you've got to take all that. I mean, isn't that right?
Yeah,
all that rubbish. You buy one little thing, and it comes in a box that size, and you know you thought it was all going to come in one box. It's all done, but no. For the next 20 days, you've got a postman knocking at the door at inconvenient times. You've got another bloody parcel to sign for, and another load of boxes to get rid of. And another load of those stupid polystyrene things that children choke on because they think it's popcorn.
The thing that gets me is wrapping. I can't get my head around it.
It's the best thing about buying a gift, I think, when you're in like a department store and they go, "Do you want it wrapped?" And you go,
yeah.
"Oh, yeah, don't worry about that." I did it last year, though, and I got a bunch of stuff wrapped, went to a big department store, got a bunch of stuff, got everything wrapped, and then didn't know what anything was. I had to unwrap all the presents. I had my own little Christmas morning and went, "Oh, look what I got."
I do the thing that all blokes do at some point when wrapping presents, where you go, "I might do this one like a cracker." I think you're the only person who's ever done it. You've gone, "Oh my God, I've just had an eureka moment."
And like they get bigger and bigger, it's a pair of shoes.
Cracker.
What I do in most scenarios when I get given a present, the first thing I always say, it's a little tip of advice for you, very good. So whatever it is, just open it, just look at it and you just go, "This isn't my main present, is it?" This is just some little bauble to go along with the main present, isn't it?
Did you know, for example, a half-hour session of lovemaking burns between 150 and 250 calories, which means every time I make love, I burn 3 calories. Oceanographers say killer whales are actually dolphins. Dolphins are actually gay sharks. And sharks are just bears that have been shaved and pushed into the sea. 40% of blokes have named their car. I call mine Jimmy. Right, let's get started. Sean, Holly and Amir, pick a question.
Well, I think we have to go for the boxing picture.
OK, all right. What do British people prefer, ballet or boxing?
I think boxing.
Yeah.
You think?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Who knew Emil was going to go boxing?
You know what? you get a lot of women now who like boxing. When I fight, 65% of my tickets are bought by women. And I don't know if that's because of boxing or because of me, so I don't know.
Yeah. It's definitely the boxing.
Women you never think about women going to a boxing fight. It's like women going to a football match. I mean, you get a lot going, but 65%.
I've got another shot for you. They're in the pubs now.
Where's it going to end, Sean? They're going to be driving.
I went to the bloody laundrette the other day. There's a man doing the service washes. The world's gone mental. What I want to know about this question is, when you say ballet or boxing, is it to watch or to take part?
Oh, to watch.
I like boxing. I like watching boxing. I think they should make it a bit more entertaining, though, by having car horns in the gloves.
Amir, I've got a boxing question for you.
Go on,
okay.
mate.
Youngest ever Olympic medal winner, I believe.
Yep.
You got silver.
Yep.
Silver in boxing, that is second. There's only 2 of you in there. Just saying. I want to know when they stopped, because like in the boxing, they used to box like that. Like 100 years ago, people used to box.
You're age away, man. I mean, it's changed now.
It's changed. I'm not 100.
That's in the pictures.
50 years
that's
ago,
how they used to
50
pose.
years
They didn't
ago.
used to go like that, did they?
Have you not seen? Have you not
time
seen
ago.
the Sherlock Holmes films? They definitely did. They used to punch like that.
They're not documentaries. That's not how Sherlock Holmes fought.
Yes, it is.
Hang on, Sherlock Holmes did not exist.
They used to put them
When you knock someone, you've knocked people out, don't you? Occasionally.
In the ring,
In the ring, yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, I didn't mean. I wasn't asking you to do something. It must feel amazing, but also there must be a part of it when you knock someone out. You're thinking, brilliant, I'll finish work early.
Yeah, they always said to me,
mate, I'm off.
Yeah.
So how quickly do you get home after the fight? Because that's a brilliant point, isn't it? If you knock him out and then you go, West Wing's on.
It just depends. It depends where the fight is. Normally, I can be home within an hour. With going to the fight, having the fight, and then coming back home, an hour.
That would have made a terrible ending to Rocky, which is how soon he was back on his sofa watching the television. Yeah, I'm home, love. Yeah, saw it all out.
Adrian!
World champion.
Adrian, can you make us a cup of tea? So what's the biggest audience you've fought in front of?
About 35,000. Yep.
35,000. Where was that?
That was in Cardiff.
And was that like, was it an official thing or was it on the street?
What's the biggest audience ballet get? Do you know?
Oh, when I did ballet, there was 36,000. And 66% of them were men. So...
OK, well, let's get an answer on this. John?
Ballet, I think, are we?
OK.
Yep. Right, guys.
Cool. You're going ballet? What do you think?
Voice of the people.
Boxing.
All right, I can tell you the answer is 56% of people prefer boxing to ballet. For those who haven't seen Black Swan, it's a powerful story about a man who gets a blowjob for going to watch a film about ballet. I'm pretty sure that was my take-home message. Did you know, for example, 80% of all pictures on the internet are of naked women? Who knew? Men knew. 7% of Britons have got in trouble telling lies at work. In my experience, they get particularly upset when they find out you're not actually a doctor and that isn't actually a thermometer. And apparently the human heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood 30 foot. Isn't the type of thing you should write in a Valentine's card. Right, let's get started. OK, fingers on buzzers, one more thing to get. How else has America changed the world?
So fast. The food. The fast food. Quick food, fast food, straight, no messing around. Just
fast.
Straight through, got your food off, gone.
Straight through, I think, describes it aptly.
Yeah.
You live in Los Angeles, don't you, Russell?
I do.
OK, so favourite fast food joint?
I really don't do that much fast food, but I'll go Mexican fast food, if anything. Del Taco, good gas.
It's not only delicious when you eat it, but also afterwards you go, oh. Fragrant.
No smell, just gassy.
Just gassy.
Loud. It's loud. It's like a Mexican coming out of your ass, really, is what it is.
And when it comes out, does it mow your lawn?
Do you eat fast food? You don't look as if you eat fast food.
I
Are
do
you
eat
allowed
fast
to
food,
eat fast
yeah.
food? Does Simon tell you you can't eat it?
No. I'm trying to keep the timber down, you see. Try and keep in good shape.
The timber down?
Yeah, the timber.
Don't say keep the timber down and do that, because people will think you're talking about something else. There's a wood connotation to timber.
Yeah, baby, trying to keep the timber down.
Well, surprisingly, that's not in our top 3. People criticise McDonald's, but if it wasn't for McDonald's, where else would we take a shit in the town centre?
I think what Hollywood has done to a cinema, in one way, has ruined it. It's because all the food people take in, people who never normally litter anywhere, in cinema, they just finish their popcorn, they just go boom, like that. With cans of boom. People just chuck shit everywhere, and the lights come up, and it looks like Dale Farm.
So those were the top ways America changed the world. But other things that didn't quite make our list, America gave us social networking. By the age of 23, computer programmer Mark Zuckerberg had created Facebook. And amazingly, within just 3 short years, he'd lost his virginity. Starting wars. America entered the Second World War 2 years late. Stung by the criticism, it's made sure it got in nice and early with every war since, by starting them. In a fight, I let my fist do the talking. Please don't hurt me. Did you know, for example, 31% of men say they have a bucket list of things to do before they die? Number 1, find out where that smoke's coming from. 12% of British people have a friend with benefits. I've got a friend with benefits. She's on benefits. And 27% of people believe in reincarnation. My uncle died and came back as a woman. I say died, he went to Thailand. Right, let's get started. The Labour Party held their annual conference in Liverpool this week. Ed Miliband has admitted to some of the mistakes the Labour Party made when Gordon Brown was leader. Mainly that they had Gordon Brown as leader. Fingers on buzzers.
I think it's that footballer, Tevez. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the footballer,
Well,
Tevez?
I really don't know anything about football, but I think
You don't need to say that twice.
He's really expensive, and he refused to go on in some big match. And there was some sort of row, and you saw him being like, well, I'm not going on. Which I kind of liked, the kind of thought of like an obnoxious, because I love an obnoxious pop star. You know, like
It's the
pop
sort of
stars
thing
that make people
Axl
wait.
Rose would do.
Yeah, I love that, like not going on yet.
Axl Rose shouldn't have to go on because he's not a footballer, so...
It's a good point, well made, Sarah. I can't argue with that.
You're on £200,000 a week and your boss says, you won't do half hour for us, would you?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't really go, no, I don't want to today. I'm not really asking. Can you go and definitely do... I don't see why he's still here. He's been in the country 4 years and he wants to leave. That's his big thing. He didn't want to play because I don't want to be in the country. I want to go home. I can't speak any English. He's been here 4 years. The only words he's got to learn is like kick, goal. Like the Spanish for goal is goal. The Spanish for football is football. Like, it's not like we're asking him to learn Sanskrit.
He also said it was a miscommunication, didn't he? He said it because what he actually said was, OK, boss, where do you want to play? But because of his accent, it came out like, I fucking hate Man City. You can piss off, shove out your arse, you piece of shit. But it's an accent thing. It's just a dialect.
Well, because it's from the
What he
Catalan
actually
region.
said was, "Ke."
Do we know why he didn't go up? Like, why he just refused? Was it just... Had he just realised that football's a bit shit? Okay, thanks, love.
Just one, like, fucking yes. Finally, someone said it.
If you look at Tevez, though, he's a very unfortunate-looking chap, isn't he? He does. He looks like Shrek's ugly mate, doesn't he?
I refute that. Let's have a look. He's a great-looking guy. In fairness to him, that was a very sunny day. His flash is too strong. I like it. It's too strong.
Just as well he didn't go on, to be honest, because in that picture I can see he's already broken pretty much the rule of football. This is good, is he? I scored a goal!
He's attention seeking, isn't he? Let's face it, if you're gonna go to a football match and sit on the subs bench, you're probably gonna go on, let's face it, you've got to do that. And then he just says no. He's obviously an attention seeker.
You think he's an attention seeker?
Yeah.
He's obviously an attention seeker. It's the most attention-seeking sort of thing I've ever bloody seen. That, my friend, is how you get attention. Let's have a look and see whether Carlos Tevez is one of the most talked about people this week. Yes, Carlos Tevez was told he'd never play for Man City again after refusing to go on as a sub. Carlos Tevez earns £250,000 a week. To put that in terms the layman will understand, fucking hell. Did you know, for example, Brits consume more than half of all the crisps eaten in the EU, and then when the EU isn't looking, we eat the rest of them? Pound for pound, the tongue is the strongest muscle in the body, is a terrible chat-up line. But it works. 25% of people have found romance in a pub. I'm not sure romance is exactly the right word in that context. I don't know many Barbara Cartland books that end, and then he did me in the gents with a curry-flavoured condom. And 9% of people regard their work as meaningless. Right, let's get on with this celebrity panel show about opinion poll surveys and statistics. Jason, your team to go first. Oh. Jamelia, Charlie, what have the nation been talking about?
It's got to be snow, hasn't it?
It's absolutely got to be.
And what's funny is it's become a national story now. It's hit London. But we've had it for ages in the northwest. We've had it since about 1984.
Luckily, you don't go on about it.
You're enjoying it right now. You're at a stage where you're like, oh, look at it, it's all white, and we can build snowmen, and don't our gardens look like everyone else? Hell is coming, London. Hell is coming. You know, in Manchester, there's people, like, looting B&Q for sleighs and wellies. Like, rock salt has got a bigger street value than crack cocaine. It's not good.
Charlie, how are things in the square? How's Doc coping?
Yeah, I think she's all right. I don't know.
Because it's icy outside the Vic, isn't it?
Yeah. No, they're getting on all right, I think.
Of course they are. They recorded it months ago, so
yeah.
it's not snowing there, it's fine.
But no, they're doing stuff at the moment, which will come out in about 8 weeks, so that'll look a bit weird.
That's a shame, because everything else in these centres is so realistic.
I've still yet to see snow. I've got no heating in my house, though.
No heating in your house?
No heating in my house.
You can't work the buttons, can you?
I basically...
You just press everything.
You know,
There's lights coming on.
How do you know that?
Shutters in the garage go...
And so I've got no heating in my house. So my kids are sleeping. We're all sleeping in the same bed, and I've put the kids in tights, and they wear tights right out. And one of them's only little.
OK, good.
Listen to that, listen to Claudia. That is as irrelevant as most of the news coverage. If you watch the news, the coverage of the news is just ridiculous. People go, and we're going live to a gritting depot in Cheshire. There's a woman standing there going, yes, I'm outside the Cheshire gritting depot, and there's a lot of grit moving out. They're doing it all night, getting the grit on the road, so... back over to you in the studio. There's some snow, that's it.
You do watch it and think travel chaos, yeah? Why do you bother going there, then?
Yes.
If there's such travel chaos, how have you got the film crews everywhere in the country? This is the worst affected area. We've just arrived with a camera.
Have you been out and done a snowman? Have you done a snowman, Sean?
I haven't done a snowman, no.
What are you suggesting?
You won't touch a snowman.
What do a snowman for? What sort of dirty bastard? Even if I wanted to, I don't think I could.
You've got kids, Jamelia. Were they off school?
My kids don't go to school.
Your kids don't go to school? No, it's for the best.
I homeschool them.
Sorry.
Do you hate
Sorry, not really.
I homeschool them.
Well, good luck, Jamelia's kids. So all the best with that.
What do you mean?
You homeschool them?
What do you wear? You know what? No, I know.
What do you wear? Yeah, that was my first thought. What do you wear, Jamelia? A saucy school teacher's outfit?
I know how I come across on these panel shows, right? But I am actually intelligent. I would not. No, you know, I wouldn't do something like that. You know.
Are they not sick of you though? Like after spending all day with you and then they get home. Well, they're at home.
Number one, we don't spend all day
Okay.
doing schooling because, like, children don't need the whole time, and we don't stay in the house either. Like, you know, sometimes we go to Tesco's.
Oh, where are we going tomorrow on our field trip? My mummy's getting the bikini waxed. Good luck, kids. Shall we have a look and see whether the weather is one of the most talked about things this week? I have a feeling it might be. Of course. Yes, this is the news that Britain has been struck by the coldest winter for 30 years. Lots of areas are in trouble because they're running out of salt to grit the roads, but I'm OK because I live in quite a posh area of North London and we don't use salt, we use paprika. Did you know, for example, in a recent survey, 80% of Scottish men claim they regularly surf the web until they were told that the fruit machine in the chippy is not actually part of the internet. 7% of 80-year-olds have used email, and it's even better for them because they love spam. 21% of people text whilst on the loo. They're on pay-as-you-go. And 47% of men would give up sex for 6 months in return for a 50-inch plasma TV. And 47% of women said, deal. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what are the top uses of the internet. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 uses of the internet. Sean, your team to go first. What do you think people use the internet for?
Well, Carol, you're on the internet.
I'm on the internet all the time. I tell you what I do. I shop on the internet. I buy absolutely everything on the internet.
You're not worried about fraud and all that sort of stuff?
No.
You're not worried about people nicking your identity and that?
No.
I bet your password is proper confusing, though, isn't it? You've got an amazing password that you've actually got to solve 3 sums to get the password.
I buy a ton of books from Amazon, but I actually go to the factory and never ever use their website.
You just go to the depot in Leicester?
Yeah, and there's one in Germany. I just like to be able to browse and see them in the boxes and, you know...
It would be amazing if Amazon opened up a shop where you could browse.
Yeah.
I find it weird when they do that thing where they sort of suggest other things that you might like to buy because of what you've bought previously. Like, I bought your DVD at Christmas, right? And then it
Thanks
said,
so much.
you like Jimmy Carr's DVD, you might also like a Police Academy 5 assignment Miami Beach.
Whereas actually, you'd be more likely to like Mission to Moscow, which is the 6th in the series.
But you were great in both of those films, so...
I tell you, I bought your DVD at Christmas as well, and you, quite rightly, you know, they offer you things that you think would be associated. And there's an inflatable bondage chair that came up online. But
well, there must have been some other things that you bought as well. It is, the recommendations is an odd thing because it's sort of... I don't mind buying stuff on Amazon, but when the recommendations come up, I do sometimes think, is that me? I've got to change.
It would freak you out if it happened in Tesco, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? If you were, like, buying some tuna and someone went, do you like tuna? You tried it with pasta? It's well nice. Or if somebody came and bought your shopping last minute. Like, you've done all the work, bought it, and you put your bid in for your shopping, you're lining up in Tesco and someone's gone, I think you'll find that's my shopping now.
David, do you buy anything on... You buy eBay stuff, don't you?
I recently bought on eBay a 5-foot actual-size inflatable giant penguin. And it's the first time ever in my life I have thought, wow, when my parents were my age, they had 2 kids in a house, and I have an actual-size 5-foot...
Right, let's have a look and see whether shopping is one of the top 5 uses of the internet.
Yay!
Did you know, for example, people in Sheffield have the most fillings and missing teeth in Britain? Finally, something to go on that Welcome to Sheffield poster. 34% of the under 30s don't know how to wire a plug. It's easy. Dad, how'd you wire a plug? 7% of men say they've taken credit for work they didn't do. And that's according to a poll I conducted myself earlier today. And 60% of teenagers say they only go to church for weddings and christenings and claim they don't know nothing about no lead on no roof. Right, let's get started. Sean's team first. What do you think the nation have been talking about?
People are still moaning about the snow.
Well, some people are slightly more moany than others.
Brilliantly on the news, another bloke was being interviewed on the news the other day, and he was saying, he said, my bins haven't been emptied for a month. And the way he said it was like a euphemism. Nobody's come round to empty my bins. They haven't even given them a lick. I wouldn't mind if someone just came round and just jiggled my bins.
Faye, have your bins been emptied recently?
They were. There was a lack of bin men, and I had left out a big load of beer for them for Christmas, which was still there until earlier this morning.
So they have sex with you for beer?
Where did the sex bit come into it?
Oh, I was thinking of my euphemism.
Yeah, I think you were
It
sticking
was
it
just
on.
in our heads.
Oh.
Yeah.
But in our heads, it was going brilliantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm now cleared out. As it were.
Have you been affected by the snow, Josie?
I tell you what I saw. I was walking along the road just after it snowed and everyone was moaning about lack of grit. I saw someone had taken it into their own hands and what they'd done was they put loads of flour on the drive, and then when they run out of flour, they put loads of oats, and then they put loads of sugar. And I was really expecting to see, just next to that, a baker frozen to death. Just...
I've got my own thought. I use these little sachets of salt. What I do is I sprinkle a bit like that. Over there, right, then I get another one out.
I get really pissed off. I get really pissed off by the whole, like, panic buying stuff that everyone talks about, like, panic buying, because there's a food shortage, people go out and they panic buy bread, eggs and milk. Like, to me, that doesn't seem like panic buying in a food shortage. That's quite intelligent buying. Panic buying would be if you went out to the shops during a food shortage and came back with, like, a copy of 40 Towers and a dildo.
I panicked!
Is there a business opportunity here, Peter?
I don't... What, with dildos?
No. Although...
Do you know what I see, though? I don't know whether everybody else thinks the same, but this weather, you've got some nutters on the road.
I did see the two guys that drove on the canal this week. You see that?
Great, wasn't it?
You know, the best thing about the story, so it was guys, they got their car, whatever it was, a little tiny Citroen, they drove it along a canal and it went into the water and it reported that they both made it out alive, and so did the dog. They took a dog.
Maybe the dog was driving. That's why they're on the canal. You know, sometimes you go to your dog, go on, you have a go. He's going to tape his paws to the wheel. I'll do the gears, don't worry about the pedals. That's what happened.
Let's have a look and see whether the cold weather is still one of the most talked about things. Yes, of course it is. Yes, this is the news that the UK is still in the midst of the coldest winter for 30 years. A headmaster in Hampshire claims some pupils are struggling to make it into school because of the bad weather. He said of the 320 sitting maths A-level, 280 were in the exam hall when the exam started. Another 30 turned up 20 minutes later. 4 people went to the toilet, but only 3 returned. Then 42 left the building. How many were there at the end of the exam? Many people in the north have been bulk buying food because they're fat, greedy bastards. Did you know, for example, 17% of adults don't class sexting as cheating? I love sexting. Nothing turns me on more than reading the phrase, who dis? 47% of people think boy racers are the worst type of drivers, and that's a survey of people who have never seen your mum park in a disabled bay and then do one of her funny walks into Sainsbury's. And 80% of people say they always visit cultural attractions when on holiday, although that drops to just 20% when you explain that watching someone shoot ping-pong balls out of their foof is not technically a cultural attraction. Right, let's get started. Aisling.
Yes.
What do you think the nation will be talking about?
Without a doubt, it must be the potential United States of Trump. America is basically about to play the biggest game of would you rather that the world has ever seen. And the question is, as a president, would you rather a woman loses a few emails, wears a lot of pantsuits, or a racist sex pest? And it turns out America really hates pantsuits.
Should we take a look and see if the American election is up there? Yes, the most talked about thing. Yes, it's the US presidential election. Trump or Clinton. It's the political equivalent of being asked, would you prefer to f*** your mum or give your dad a blowing? Rob's team, what do you think the nation will be talking about?
What do I think? What are you going for? What's been happening?
Brexit.
Yes.
Brexit's big again, isn't it? Is it
Yeah.
the new Brexit ruling?
The new Brexit ruling. Well, explain.
The thing is, the issue is, it's basically not really should we go or not. It's basically Theresa May looks stupid now because she said she's going to trigger Article 50.
And she can't.
But she can't until all the MPs vote to do it. So that's the new problem, isn't it?
It's so bloody confusing, though. It does feel like Britain has turned into an episode of Game of Thrones. You know, in Game of Thrones, they're always winter's coming, and winter never comes. Like, I feel like every time I watch Channel 4 News, like, Brexit's coming, Brexit's coming. You know nothing, Jon Snow. We don't know if it's coming.
I used to have a friend at school who used to hold a pea in. And what he used to do is he used to hold the pea in, but he used to hold the end of his foreskin so it'd swell up like a balloon.
The worrying thing is, the people JV went to school with are probably trying to sort out the Brexit. Just going, what, Article 50, watch this first.
You know what, it's a tough job.
How would you know? How would you even know what a job is? Did you know, for example, 14% of women say they can always tell when they're being lied to? And that's because all women are intelligent, perceptive, intuitive, and have you lost weight? The perfect slice of toast is 14 millimetres thick and weighs 0.44 grams per square inch. And that's according to a scientist who's apparently not aware there's still no cure for cancer. And only 3% of British women are naturally blonde. And that's a survey I conducted myself on the escalators at King's Cross. Right, let's get started. John, Rick, Ellen, what else will the nation be talking about?
Well, over here on Team Cool, I imagine we've all been glued to the Tory party conference.
Woo! Yeah.
Osborne solved the world financial meltdown. He said, these problems have been caused by humans, and they'll be fixed by humans, which is bullshit. It's a bit like being in a jungle going, well, this arm might have been bitten off by a tiger, and I fully expect a tiger to return and sew the wound up. Bit simple, George.
I liked Jeremy Hunt's speech, the culture secretary, and he had this beautiful ballet dancer come on stage and do this dance. And at the same time, unexpectedly, Eric Pickles began to join in. And he was doing this sort of strange thing with his legs and was getting a bit sort of out of breath, but then it just turned out he was trying to get out of his chair.
Bless him. Even his own party are going at him for being fat. You just want him to, because he looks so sad. You think, just have some, he needs some lines, like old stock lines. So when Osborne took the piss out of him, I go, do you know why I'm so fat? Because every time you f*** the economy, I have a biscuit. Woo!
Worst thing about going to a pop concert?
The music. No, the worst thing for me about pop concerts is the miming.
Yeah, because you want to see a show. You don't want to see people going...
Get on with it! Bloody sing!
Have you been to any pop concerts, Craig?
I have. I went to Whitney Houston's pop concert.
Not the recent one?
No, darling, the one that was in Africa, her first visit there, and that was a disaster. Because she'd lost her voice.
She'd lost her voice?
Yeah.
What, was it British Airways flying her over there with her?
I hate going to pop concerts because of the toilet situation for the women, because I'm not a big advocate of pissing in cups. So I have to queue for the loos, and I used to, like, sort of push in and say, like, oh, I'm pregnant. But I don't want to push in anymore, because I heard a story about a girl who pushed in and got into a portaloo, and then the crowd kind of turned feral, and they pushed the portaloo over with her in it. And I don't know if that's an urban legend, but I don't want to risk it.
That makes me proud to be British. You know the Tory party conference when they talk about the British spirit and what it is to be British and coming together as a community? That is the example they should have used. She pushed in the queue, did she? Well, she can be covered in poo. Good on them.
I tell you what I always find weird at when you go to see a band these days is they have that gap, don't they, between the stage and the audience. And they have those stewards there, these massive, great big blokes in polo shirts, and they're not seeing the band. They're staring at the audience. And the idea of trying to have a good time with this 18-stone Glaswegian just staring at you. And he's obviously got a court appearance on Monday. If you're trying to have fun, if you're in your living room trying to have fun and there's just a big bloke staring at you going, "You're having fun, are you, son?" They're always from Glasgow, aren't they, those fellas?
Yeah, and they're always lifting people out as well. I always think that's... Is there someone in from Glasgow now? Hello? OK, well, there's an AA meeting just up the road. Anything else is the worst thing about going to a pop concert?
The crowds, darling, the crowds.
It's to do with the crowds. It's a very specific thing about...
When there's a very tall person standing in front of you.
That is exactly the right answer. Yes, the worst thing about going to a pop concert is standing behind a tall person, especially if you've gone to see Jedward, because if you're standing behind someone really tall, they could block your shot, and you have to kill them both. The average person is capable of making more than 1,000 facial expressions, and this is the one I made when I heard that statistic. KFC is the most popular fast food restaurant in China. You would have thought it would have been a Chinese. 55% of men wash their hands after going to the loo. What I do, and here's a tip for you, is I wash my winky in the morning and then I'm good for the rest of the day. Right, let's get started. Sean?
Well, I think definitely been talking about bird flu, the approach of bird flu that's coming to us. People are very worried about it, aren't they?
My mum panics because she reads all this stuff and she phoned up last week because she thought her budgie had got it, Sooty. It's got a budgie. And apparently he was just in the corner of the cage shivering and won't go up its ladder. And he loves going up his ladder, Sooty. He loves it. What happened turned out the grandkids had been getting him out of the cage and holding him over a globe of the world and spinning it down, and it just freaked him out. I'm too high! I'm too high!
Bird flu, horse run.
The government says don't panic. If it gets into a stress situation, just move them all inside. But that's where we are. That can't be right.
I don't think the chickens are too bothered, really, because compared to what the farmer's got in store for them, flu's a bit of a holiday, really, isn't it? But if I was a chicken, I'd be snogging other chickens trying to catch them.
They've been talking about 20 million people might die if the bird flu kicks off.
We're all right, we're blokes, aren't we?
Someone had to say it, Vic, and I'm glad it was you.
See what I've done there? Yeah, it's just the birds who are going to get it, isn't it?
If only, Vic. And then me and you could just run off together into the sunset.
Like we did last week.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look and see whether avian bird flu is one of the top 5 most talked about things this week. Yes, it is. Yes, the second most talked about thing this week was bird flu. The deadly H5N1 virus is close to Britain. Coincidentally, H5N1 is Bernard Matthews' postcode. Richard, Neil, Dave, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Wembley's not finished. Fuck off, really.
Big shock.
Kelsey Breeze. I was looking at some sort of report on it. It said that it's going to have 2,000 toilets. Wembley's going to have 2,000. And there's your delay. Waiting for the plumber, aren't they?
I thought, actually, that one of the problems is a language problem, isn't it, with the Australian builders? Because they used to have the rising inflection. When they finish a sentence, they rise up as if it's a question. So I think when they say, like, tomorrow you'll start work at 8, all the blokes go, that probably means about 10:30, doesn't it?
I just like the part that they were bollocking them for doing coke. I wouldn't make them do it, just make it do it all faster.
That's the answer, Kelly. People haven't been brave enough to say it, but drugs are what these builders need.
Think of what you could build with 750 million. You could have a ladder to the moon for £1.
For £1?
Well, that's better than having a big stadium, isn't it? A ladder to the moon.
Yes, but if you could deliver Vic, I'd invest.
I've got 750 million to play with. I could have a pipe that goes down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench that you could slide down and get fired out the other side.
You're right, Vic, we haven't thought this through. A ladder to the moon.
Said like that, it sounds a lot more impressive.
A ladder to the moon. Yes, Mr. Bond. They built the biggest water slide in the world. Right, let's have a look and see whether Wembley is one of the most talked about things this week.
Of course it is.
Yes, it was. 35% of you were talking about the fact that Wembley Stadium will not be ready for this year's FA Cup final. The delays have thrown the fixtures list into chaos. Chelsea will now be playing Bon Jovi in the Charity Shield. 31% of American men would abandon their partner in favour of their own safety. Is that true or is it false?
We now think it's false.
You are right, it is false. 7% of US men would abandon a loved one if attacked by a bear. Never mind a bear, I nearly left my girlfriend when that whale came up the Thames. If you were to count up every hot dog sold outside football grounds in Britain on a Saturday, chances are your nickname's Rain Man. 40,000 Americans are injured in the toilet every year. Most accidents are from people slipping on a wet floor. Just goes to show you've got to look out for number one. Half of all the people who have ever smoked have now stopped. Sounds good, but when I say stopped, a lot of them have died. Let's get started. Dave, your team to go first. What have the nation been talking about this week?
Well, around our way, it's been this smoking ban. I think the government reneged on the deal again, where they said that it was going to be a partial ban. I know they've changed their mind and it's a full ban. They were going to have designated areas in pubs, weren't they, for smoking? And to my mind, that's like having a swimming bath with designated urinating areas.
They have banned it in some American cities, haven't they? Do you approve?
Well, as I live here, I couldn't give a fuck about what's going on.
There are times you really fancy a cigarette, and it's going to be quite tricky. Like, you know, if you just cheated death in an air disaster, you really want to have a cigarette then?
I reckon they'll let you.
Yeah, do you reckon?
If you've just cheated death in an air disaster.
Yeah. But you won't care anyway, will you? Just go, piss off.
Yeah.
I think you put that plane out.
Are you saying like if your seat somehow gets thrown out of the plane into a pub?
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look and see whether the smoking ban is one of the top 5 most talked about things this week.
Get in.
Yes, it is. Interestingly, the ban on smoking will not apply to Wales, which is one more reason to visit Wales, which brings the total to 1. We've got 2 more to get. Buzz in if you think you know what the nation have been talking about.
Is it the US Vice President going out hunting and shooting his mate? Which is really funny. I mean, he said, I mistook him for a quail.
Lenny went, did you see the size of that fucking quail?
It's a shame he didn't go with Bush, though, isn't it? Just, that would have been nice if he'd shot Bush. That would have been perfect. If George Bush had popped out of a bush and he'd blown his stupid face off.
Now, Reg, you're an American man. Have you been hunting?
No, I've never been hunting. I've been in the forest with a gun, but...
Don't threaten me, Reg.
I was doing something else, though.
I don't think you shoot quails, because when I went on hunting, they only said that you shoot ferrets, rabbits.
You went hunting?
You sure you weren't working for Rent-A-Kill?
No,
You weren't hitting rats with a shovel?
And I'm going to go to shoot the ferrets.
You're going to go and shoot ferrets?
In the season.
In the season? Is there a season for shooting ferrets?
That's what they said.
Yeah. Do you mean pheasants?
Pheasants!
Right, shall we have a look and see if Dick Cheney shooting someone in the face is one of the top stories this week? Yes, it is. Yes, 52% of you were talking about American Vice President Dick Cheney shooting a lawyer in the face in the woods outside Dallas. 60% of air passengers have had problems with what?
The pilot. I just judged this on one incident where I was flying recently to Alicante and we got up to 35,000 feet. He came on and went, pilot Captain Johnson speaking. Reached our cruising altitude, 35,000 feet, on the way to Alicante. Weather en route's fine. Shit! That was it. And we sat there like... He came back on and he went, I'm really sorry, I might have scared some passengers. And what happened was, in the middle of my announcement, the stewardess brought me a coffee and spilt it on me. And that was all it was. I'm sorry. And he said, you want to see the front of my pants? And some bloke at the back went, you want to see the back of mine?
I would think the seats would be a problem. Like especially like in America, like say for instance, you got a fat ass. And in America, a lot of people got a fat ass. And I would think that the seats would consistently be a problem over there. But I've seen a few people over here, and they seem like, well, I've seen a lot of fat people, but they ain't got no fat ass. I don't know how they do that.
Reg, that's exactly the right answer. It is 60% of air passengers have had problems with their seat. The main problem being it's next to a man whose shoe is ticking. Did you know, for example, 30% of people would consider moving abroad after a holiday? I read about 2 girls who recently went on holiday to Peru, and they liked it so much they're staying for 6 to 8 years. 20% of travellers claim to be members of the Mile High Club. I once had a near miss on a flight to Thailand. Sorry, not near miss, pre-op transsexual. And 23% of Brits have never visited France, which means they've never experienced the thrill of sitting in a cafe on the Champs-Élysées and being put off their croissant by the sight of a woman's hairy armpits and the smell of dog shit. Right, let's get started. Sean's team, what do you think the nation have been talking about this week?
Strictly Come Dancing has started again.
It's back on, it's huge.
Yeah, it is huge, it's massive. Although the line-up is a bit... Well, I think most of them should bring a utility bill. I don't know who they are.
I thought there were huge stars on there.
Who?
With Vanessa Feltz. You did that. Yeah. I said nothing.
No, I did that as well. I've been locked in a house with Vanessa Feltz. I can testify.
Of course.
Yeah, I did.
When you did Celebrity Big Brother.
I did Comic Relief Big Brother in 2001 with Vanessa Feltz, and she is she's nuts.
How long did you last in that, Jack?
I was in the whole week. I won it, of course.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Charm and personality that shines through. Captured the nation's heart.
Exactly. People just sort of warmed to me, and
I think people kept you in because they knew it would irritate you.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, do you think maybe she's just said, like, I'll come and do the show, but I'm just not gonna do too much because I'm a bit heavy? Yeah.
Do you mean like serious, or what do you...
No, I mean, like, seriously.
Oh, no, you're
like...
being incredibly bitchy. OK, great.
No!
I didn't realise where you were going with this, but no, I'm with you.
You can't go, no, you just called her fat. And
No,
you go,
I didn't. No, I didn't
used
call her
another
fat.
word.
I didn't say she... I didn't. Because I'm just saying she hasn't danced much, and to me, if you're going on a dancing show, you should dance.
Sean, presumably you're pretty... I mean, you watch the show. Would you go on the show? Would you go on Strictly?
well, you know, if my whole career fell apart in tatters and I had really no option and a lot of tax bills to pay and the situation... No, I actually didn't mean that. Sometimes you get lucky. I mean, you only go on it if your career has reached a certain point. Basically, you have to throw yourselves up into the sort of, like, tides of popularity and hope you get washed up on a beach, not smashed to pieces on the rocks.
Right then, well, on that note, Jamelia, would you do it?
Stop.
What?
Honest to God, I get asked to do it every single year, and just hell no.
It's one of the 2 biggest shows on TV, so I mean, it's...
Do you know the stupid amounts of money they offer you to do that show? I just
what,
wouldn't...
how much did they offer?
No, they're like
Oh, come on.
I mean, ridiculous
What,
amounts
tell
of
us.
money. You can buy a house, put it that way. And
Yeah, but you live in
always say
Birmingham.
no. Yeah.
Let's have a look and see if Strictly is up there. Yes, indeed, Strictly Come Dancing has started again. In the first episode of this series of Strictly, everyone agreed Abby Clancy stole the show. Typical Scouser. Did you know, for example, 43% of men flirt with people behind their partners' backs? I have to confess, I sometimes flirt with people without telling my girlfriend, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just a bit of harmless banter in the steam room of a gay sauna. It's nothing. 11% of single women have already picked out their wedding dress. It's an important decision. It's a lot of money to spend on a dress you're only going to wear never. And video game controllers have 5 times the amount of germs found on a toilet seat. It's their own fault for giving them that vibrate function. Right, let's get started. Shulstein, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Badgers! Badgers!
It's a very upbeat response.
Ah, they can't kill all the badgers.
Well, they don't know how many there are.
Badgers have moved the goalposts.
This is actually a quote from a government minister when Environment Secretary Owen Paterson was asked if he'd moved the goalposts, because they're now saying they need to kill more badgers. He said the badgers have moved the goalposts.
They do. I think the cull's a good thing, because they say that there's the equivalent of 1 dead badger for every 10 yards between Tiverton and Exeter.
They always say that, don't they? Yeah, people are always saying that.
No, but it's actually quite a useful way of finding your way home. Yeah. Instead of just sprinkling rose petals as you walk along, just follow
the usual method, yes.
A trail of dead woodland animals.
What do you make of the badger cull?
Well, I think it's interesting because obviously TB is supposedly spread by the badgers, and with this cull now, they're all running for the hills and obviously spreading it even more.
There is no TB.
Do you think the reason people are so upset about badgers is because they're like our pandas? You know, people are feel very, very fondly towards pandas. Do you think people see them badgers as it's like a shit panda?
They are a bit like pandas, because I love watching two of them shag.
What, a panda and a badger?
Oh, no. 2 badgers having sex, not anything weird.
You like watching a couple of badgers?
Because there's 2 pandas up in Scotland they're trying to get to have it off.
Yeah.
So if people like watching pandas having sex, people might also like to watch badgers do it.
The badger might help, because the badger could be like a fluffer for the panda.
Let's have a look and see if the badger cull is up there. Yes, the badger cull's been extended as they say they haven't killed enough animals. The aim of the cull was to stop the spread of bovine TB and to distract Brian May from making any more music. Did you know, for example, Italians drink 14 billion espressos every year? It's amazing they're as lazy as they are. A hedgehog's heart beats 300 times a minute. Is there a car coming? Is there a car coming? Shit, there's a car coming. And 18% of men admit not noticing if a girl changes her hairstyle. I should explain to those men that a girl's hair is part of the blur above where her breasts are. Let's get started. Jason, what have the nation been talking about?
It's got to be the Iran elections. What's his name? Where's my dinner, Dad?
That's a particularly northern take on that.
Is that not what his name is?
Ahmadinejad.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's basically cheated, hasn't he? He's come in, he's now the boss, and they're saying he shouldn't be. It should be the other fella.
But also, there's a letter that's been going around. Musavi said that there's a proper letter that proves that he had won, but now people don't know whether it's
Well, you know what they should do? They should put it to the vote.
Iran does sound like a weird country. Imagine being able to choose your Prime Minister.
Musavi should have done what that little girl did on Britain's Got Talent. You know, when she got her song wrong.
Yeah.
He should have gone on Iranian television just gone, I should have won. And the Ayatollah should have gone, we don't know where we'll find it, but we'll find the time to have another election. Thank you.
I have sort of problems with Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, right? Because I totally disagree with pretty much everything he stands for. But he's a bit good-looking, and so it's like if you're reading the newspaper and then you see a picture of a really sexy rapist, and you're like... it's like, no, but you're like, oh.
In all honesty, I don't really get this Iranian election thing. I mean, I get that the guy cheated and all of that, but I just got something on Twitter. I remember, so once it's on Twitter, it must be serious, I think.
They've cut off the mobile phone, so you can't
Yeah.
text or call
Yeah.
in Iran at the moment because they're worried about the protesting. So everyone went on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it actually became kind of a force for good
Yeah.
rather than celebrity tittle-tattle for the day.
They've blocked Facebook as well, haven't they?
closed
They're not allowed to
Facebook.
go on Facebook, can they? Because Ahmadinejad accidentally put as his status is rigging the election, LOL.
I mean, I obviously don't follow Twitter.
You don't know what you're missing.
Where I live, there's a butcher's shop, and what I do, if I want to leave messages to any friends, I'll just walk up to it and I just huff on the window and write something there. And then if anyone wants to see it, they can just walk past and go, oh, Sean's got a big cock.
OK, let's see if the Iranian elections is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, it is. Yes, this is the story that Ahmadinejad has claimed victory in the Iranian presidential election, the European Parliament, Junior MasterChef and Britain's Got Talent. Sean, Jamelia and Josie, what have the nation been talking about this week?
Madonna's been at it again. She's adopted another child, which is fantastic news for everybody. It is odd. It is odd she's able to adopt. She couldn't obviously adopt here because she's a single 50-year-old mother of 3 who works nights dancing in her pants.
If I could get adopted, I would get adopted by Billy Bragg. That's like my dream person to adopt me. If he's out there, just...
Do you have
I make
parents?
no trouble. Yeah, I've got parents. They're great.
Will they be watching this? Going, what, we haven't written enough protest songs. What do you want, love?
I would choose Adam Woodyard.
Wow, people
He's
have
my
actually got this...
favourite celebrity. I interviewed him once. He's number 1, smiley. Number 2, charming.
This is Ian Beale we're talking about here.
Number 3...
She wants Ian Beale to be her dad.
He just seems... He's very friendly.
Let's have a look and see whether Madonna adopting a baby is one of the most talked about things this week. Madonna had a very difficult delivery. She wasn't in and had to go down to the sorting office to pick it up. 31% of taxi drivers don't take a break whilst at work. You'd think that would make them cranky and opinionated. And a teaspoon contains 120 drops of water. That's according to research by Professor, probably, from the University of... Yeah, I reckon. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Jason's team, you're to guess first. What do you think people might have been talking about this week?
It's the untimely death of Molly Sugden. Who saw that coming? Who else is that?
Jimmy.
Is it...
Jimmy. He had his chance.
Yes, David, what?
Have you heard Michael Jackson is dead?
Yes.
I thought the coverage, like the night he died on Thursday, was it Thursday when it happened?
Thursday, yeah.
I mean, I sat there all night just flipping channels between BBC, Sky News, just trying to see how many different ways you can say Michael Jackson is dead. There was this lady on BBC News, and she said, Michael Jackson, King of Pop, dead at 50. We go back live to Los Angeles for an update. He dead.
Are you sad about it?
For me, it's a little bit like when Diana dies. I couldn't give a fuck. The audience, how do you feel? Are you good at... You feel sad? No, it's a weird one. A few of you, yes. Now, I read in the paper, the big story, the real tragedy around Michael Jackson's death was the fact you were looking for a house and you lost out on the deposit.
Yeah, there's an element of truth in that, yeah.
So did you find him a house?
He was actually found 3 houses. And this is perhaps where I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, yeah. Is he living in one?
Because... just a little bit. He was due to sign he was due to choose one of the houses this week.
So what was he looking for? Was it a flat?
Fairground, isn't it? Has it got an ensuite? Has it got a waltzer?
Well, what was he looking for?
He needed what was essentially a stately home, but it needed to have all the mod cons of a gym and a cinema and a panic room and that sort of thing.
But I think what's quite interesting is they were going to have a state funeral. People were going to go and see his coffin. What they're going to do instead of a state funeral, they're just going to dangle him out of a window for 30 seconds.
let's have a look and see whether Michael Jackson is one of the most talked about things this week. I imagine he's right up there. Yes, indeed. I think the highest percentage we've ever had. Yes, Michael Jackson has passed away. You could tell Michael Jackson wasn't well. He hasn't looked himself since about 1984. Did you know, for example, 25% of men think their eyes are their best feature? Let me think. Buns, guns, pecs, nads, little Jimmy Johnson, eyes. Sixth best. The world's oldest goldfish was 42. He put his long life down to regular early morning swims. And the average life expectancy in the UK is 80 years. Does not include Scotland. Terms and conditions apply. Right, let's get started. OK, Johnstein, what's the other most important moment in life?
People do babies, don't they?
You made it sound like litter.
I think the only reason I want to have kids is so I can look at other people's without being accused of being a paedophile. Like when you walk past a... I don't mean in that word.
No, dig yourself out of this. I'd love to see this. He's got a shovel. He's on your marks, John, and dig your way out of that one.
Sometimes you're walking past a playground.
Sure. He's going deeper before he even starts the dig.
Sometimes you're walking past a playground and you just want to be able to watch the abandon of children. It's like watching nature. It's like when you watch the leaves change in autumn. Sometimes you want to watch a kid on a swing and think, oh, I used to be on swings before I had jobs and before people judged me and before I wasn't allowed to be in a park. And then before you know it, you've been there half an hour and someone says, oh, which one's yours? You go, I'll go then. Fine. I'm not... It's a nice... And sometimes a baby will look at you.
What you should say is, I haven't chosen yet.
Dr. Christian, is there anything that we can do to get John chemically castrated? You haven't got kids?
Absolutely no desire to have children whatsoever. Yeah, you can't... They just linger too long and you can't have a life.
They do linger, don't they?
Yeah.
They go on living is another way to say
They go on.
They linger. I mean, if they lasted 5 years, it'd be perfect, but no.
I never wanted kids, really. I just wanted one of those big American fridges. You know, the really big ones. Yeah. I thought it'd be ridiculous. I get one of those. It's just me and my partner there, and like a lasagna and a lemon rolling around in it. I thought I'd better have some kids, fill it out with yoghurt.
Well, I didn't think that I was very maternal until I had my baby.
Isn't that a bit late, though?
Yeah.
Really, that's kind of fine, isn't
But then it was fine. You know, honestly, you know...
Yeah, but what if it wasn't? You can't put it back in, can you? You can't, can you? No, you can't.
But see, if you do have every drug under the sun, don't... If somebody comes at you
Not
with
whilst
heroin,
you're pregnant, I should confirm.
No, but in labour, have everything. You know these folks that lie on beanbags and they have candles? No. No. You want to be numb, as God intended. You want to be numb from the waist down, knowing nothing about it until they give you a beautiful baby.
That's conception or birth.
Well... honestly, have everything.
I've never heard anything more Scottish than that. Take all the drugs that you can. Seriously, all of them. Get all of them. It's brilliant. It's like you only had the baby for the high.
No, but it is really... Honestly, I recommend it.
It's expensive, though.
No, it's on your NHS.
Well, they've worked out.
No, it doesn't cost you anything. It's on the National Health Service.
No, he's saying having children,
I mean,
not...
raising children.
Not the drugs. I know a guy that can get it for a favour.
Yeah, to raise the child is something that the average they've had through its lifetime is £200,000. Yeah. And that's not factoring in daddy's drinking, daddy's gambling.
It's all worthwhile when they turn 13 and tell you that they hate you and wish you were dead.
But then they'll look after you.
I'll fast-track that.
They'll look after you when you're old.
What?
When you're old, they'll look after you. All the money that you've paid out, they'll have to...
I'm going to use the money I saved to look after me. Although I don't have kids, because tragically my girlfriend and I can't have children the way we do it. Let's see whether having children is one of the most important moments in life. I have a feeling it will be. Yes, of course. Number 1. Yes, having children. Doctors warn women should have a baby by the age of 35 to avoid the risk of being deafened by their ticking biological clock. Did you know, for example, 29% of women under 30 say they want the perfect body? Well, here it is, ladies. Come and get it. 79% of people say they feel guilty putting recyclables in the bin. I get round it by placing my recyclables in a paper bag and throwing that in a hedge. And the average woman walks 7,000 miles in her lifetime whilst hoovering. And that statistic is brought to you by the year 1953. Right, let's get started. Top reason people are jealous of their friends.
I've got a mate who works at a Marmite factory.
Yeah.
He's always the talk of the town, so...
Yeah.
Some people love him, some people...
No, we all love him.
So I'm jealous of is Joe's beard. I can't grow a beard.
Me neither.
I can't. And if I even 2 weeks, I just look like a sort of, really old tennis ball. Patchy and bits there. I mean, you could just probably knock that out in a couple of hours, can you? Yeah.
You're looking at that through rose-tinted glasses, though, because Joe can't go to playgrounds, for example. Are you jealous of any of your friends?
I can't get up in the morning and I'm just a really lazy person.
I'm jealous of her for not having to get up in the morning. There you go. Sleep until midday, lovely. With her.
Really lazy.
I'm jealous of anyone with a foreskin. That was different, that's not you.
I can do something which will make you all jealous, especially Joe. Look, I can do this.
Whoa! Forget Joel, that's amazing! Is that the Olympic symbol?
What?
Joe.
Yeah. He's just trying to make sure I know.
Look at the amount of people in our audience currently going...
Do you start from the little one and work forward?
If you've just tuned in, we've gone mental. OK, so top reason people are jealous of their friends. I'll give you a clue, it's a really superficial thing.
Yeah, it'll be money or having a hot girlfriend, boyfriend.
Hair's not far off.
Hair, looks.
Looks.
Noses.
Long arms.
Long arms.
Skinnier is the right answer.
What?
She got the right answer. Skinnier. Yeah, that's... Apparently the top reason people are jealous of their friends is because they're thinner. Victoria Beckham's so thin, she's got to be careful when she has a bath, because if the water's too hot, she could turn into stock. Did you know, for example, 27% of UK adults have taken illegal drugs? I took some illegal drugs once. It was just paracetamol, but I nicked them from Boots. 1% of British women have paid for sex. I charge £1 a minute. And let me tell you, ladies, after a night with me, you'd be lucky to get any change at all out of that £2 coin. 55% of parents say that childhood is now over by 11, which is when the pubs close and Uncle Terry gets home. Oh, Uncle Terry. And on average, men spend 20 minutes in the bathroom every day, and women spend 27 minutes in the bathroom every day, but not directly after a man spent 20 minutes in there. Right, let's get started. Has the recession affected you? Because you're obviously, you're producing theatre these days. Are people not going out?
It affects everywhere, doesn't it? And what is sad is we were first in the recession and we're last out. It's wrong.
That is wrong. It's like an orgy, isn't it? You don't want to be last out at an orgy.
Let's have a look and see whether the recession is one of the most talked about things this week. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's... Yes, this is the news that the recession in Britain is officially over. To celebrate the end of the recession, I'm going to have a party. I'll get a mix CD, I'll get some bunting, some fun hats, maybe some pick and mix for the kids. Where can I get all of that from? Woolies. OK, Jason, Jodie and Michael, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Big Brother.
I think Big Brother.
That's all I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, I didn't watch it, but you...
Well, you've missed out. It's just been phenomenal this year. I really, really have.
Why?
I love the ritual humiliation of people that I have
I think
kind
it's human torture.
It's good when they come in at first to see who you know and who you don't know.
Yeah.
Luckily, we all knew Stephen.
Did you know anybody in there?
Vinny, you know. Vinny doesn't give you a choice about that.
What was your best experience in there?
There was this one particular time when Stephanie Beacham read the most erotic part of the Bible, which is the Song of Songs.
Yes, the most erotic part of the Bible.
Right.
That's the bit I go to if I'm feeling lonely.
Yeah.
That's why they put it in the drawer of the hotel. In case you haven't got money for that channel, you can go, hang on, Song of Songs. It was only a joke, but go on.
It was only a joke. I have a feeling you're going to be saying that again sometime.
Oh, yeah. Are you saying I'm damned to hell, Stephen Colgan? Let's just clarify this.
Yeah. I've just got a picture of you being damned and on fire.
I'll be honest with you, Alan, I think me and the devil would get on. Come back to the story, because she was reading the most erotic bit of the Bible, because I thought you had a bit of a crush on her.
She has this voice. She got very into it.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't too long after that that I was evicted. So it all worked out just great.
When you say evicted, that means what I think it means.
What does that mean?
Basically, it's something to do with your knob, if Jimmy said it.
84 shows in, it looks like Sean's broken the code. Let's have a look and see whether Big Brother was one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, Celebrity Big Brother ends this evening. This week, housemates had to make a clay model head whilst blindfolded. There was Ivana with an ugly, misshapen lump that barely resembled a human face, and then she put on a blindfold and started modelling. The one thing I like about Vinnie Jones's acting is he's very consistent. He's always shit in shit films. Did you know, for example, there are 336 dimples on a regulation golf ball, which is why they're so adorable? The biggest participation sport in the world is fishing. Of course, a lot of the participants are fish, and they're not happy about it. Right, let's get started. Sean, Johnny and Gabby, what else have the nation been talking about?
We're going to go, I think, a slightly different route, shall we, Sean?
Yes, go on, Gabby.
We're coming up to the Winter Olympics in Vancouver, and Torval and Dean, possibly the greatest Winter Olympic moment for Great Britain
And
ever.
also strictly ice dance, whatever that crap is. That's got people interested in ice skating again. They've been showing
They think about it.
Yes.
It's in their head.
They're very lucky. Most ice skaters, you can be the best in the world at ice skating. There's no money in it. You could be the world champion, but in 6 months' time, you'll be going backwards at the NEC in a goofy costume like that guy. There's no money in it at all. And I don't understand why there's no sponsorship. You've noticed they never have sponsorship on their costumes. And I think it'd be good if they had it on their gusset. You know when they lift them up? And you lift it up, and the gusset just said, like, Subway.
OK, let's see if Torval and Dean is one of the most memorable sporting events. Yes, incredibly, Torval and Dean is the nation's most memorable sporting event. It's surprising, but it was watched by 24 million people. I'm not knocking ice dancing. I just think if it's going to be Olympic sport, we should also include ballroom dancing, teabagging and bin finger. Fingers on buzzers, 2 more things to get. OK, Sean.
Is it where Colchester got that draw with
Ronnie
in the Freight Rover Trophy in '83, and there was 60 minutes left on the clock, and they managed to pull one back, and that was fine. They managed to hold on right to the very end of the game. Is it when Mike Tyson he took a bite out of Evander Holyfield's ear? I think that would be top actually, because that was the most shocking thing I've ever seen in
I interviewed Evander Holyfield, and he said, and he said that he had no
So
idea.
what?
He said,
What are you saying?
No, this one.
He said he had no idea that he'd bitten his ear off. Somebody had to tell him? Do you want to go over and say he's
So he was hitting him, he was going, "Ooh, he's got an ear in his mouth. This bloke's a nutter." Let's have a look and see whether Tyson Holyfield is one of the most memorable sporting moments. Yes, in 1997, Mike Tyson was disqualified after biting Evander Holyfield's ear. That bite was probably foreplay. I'm confident if the bell hadn't rung, he'd have bummed him. Did you know, for example, a survey recently revealed the average British worker spends 25 minutes on Facebook every day, and that figure rises to 4 hours if they answer the question honestly. 4 out of 10 workplace relationships result in marriage, and 6 in 10 result in a written warning about the incident in the stationery cupboard. And almost a third of men aged between 20 and 34 live at home with their parents, the most common reasons being cost, convenience, and if you're from Norfolk, sex on tap. Right, let's get started.
You do. I can't stand it. That thing you do like a little skip, you go, and then you go... What you do this? You go, you skip, you go...
But Sean, you try it. If you walk from there to there, you've got to then turn round.
Look, you just do that.
Well, how would you do it?
You just
how would you do it? Fine, let's see.
Walk on.
Not easy, Sean. Yeah, OK, all right, Sean Lock, everyone, Sean Lock.
You don't do this.
What is your problem? I've got a wobbly head.
Apart from that, I think you're great. I think you're amazing, Jimmy.
So, most annoying habit...
nose picking.
That is the right answer. Nose picking, yeah. Yes, the most annoying habit is nose picking. I tell you, he was terrible at nose picking, Michael Jackson. He just could not make up his mind. John, Mark, example. We're going to call you Elliot or example?
Call me by my real name just for this show.
OK, example.
Elliot.
Well, I watched X Factor this week, and it was very exciting because Cecil was off sick, so Nadia had to step in. Neville was in the bottom two because Phyllis said his song choice was all wrong. Anyway, he got saved and Humphrey's gone out. And I might have got the names wrong, but frankly, who gives a shit? Because... the one I hate is Frankie Kokoza.
Oh.
They're desperate to report that he's cool in my desperate campaign against the most despicable human on earth. This week, they said, he's been out on a 12-hour bender. He went to Wetherspoons and had a few beers with his mates. Then they went to a club, he got ID'd, and they went back to a house. That's hardly like Oasis throwing a donkey through a hotel window or anything, is it? He got ID'd and he went home. That's not a bender, is it? And then he took 3 girls this week to car parks. What? He took them to NCP... Well, fair play. It's more expensive to take a girl to an NCP car park than a hotel.
I hate it. You've got to have no talent at all and go on there and they're awful.
Have you heard Frankie
Leona
Kokoza?
Lewis, no talent?
Well, she can sing, but that's about it.
Yeah, but she's a singer, so that's like the most important
I mean,
part.
I can't sing as good as her, but I've been struggling for years to get to this position, to get on this show.
Looking at her.
It is a weird thing, though, because, like, from your world, from sort of, you know, if you're a rapper, could a rapper ever get anywhere?
Well, it's not even rappers. Like, you know, anyone who started off from, like, you know, grassroots or underground, you know, like, touring for years. Like, I've done nearly 1,500 gigs and, you know, sort of, you do all these gigs. It's, you know, like stand-up comedy, you know, start off at the bottom and just build your way up, and then if you're good, you get a chance at making it if you work really hard. And these guys, seemingly, just come out of nowhere on TV for a couple of months, and then they've, you know, record contracts and...
A lot of them on X Factor go on to become household names, like
and then...
Vanish. Did you know, for example, snails can sleep for 3 years without eating? Of course, at the end of it, they are dead. 200 babies are born worldwide every minute, so if you've just had a baby, whatever, you have a 1 in 10 million chance of being killed by a champagne cork. Good news, let's celebrate. Let's get started. So, Sean's team, what have the nation been talking about this week?
George Michael, surely.
He was found slumped at Marble Arch roundabout. And to be fair to him, that is a very tough roundabout to get off. I've been at that roundabout just going, oh, sod this. But I think in some ways it's a metaphorical roundabout for him. One way, it's to go back to his clean-cut pop image. Another way is to carry on having sex in toilets with strangers, taking loads of drugs. And then the other way is Edgware Road. But the thing I thought was funny was they said they found some sex toys in his boot. And I thought, that's probably jump leads.
Apparently, though, you know, when they opened up the boot and found the sex toys, the gimp mask and the gay porn, he said he was off to a Lib Dem fundraiser on Hampstead Heath.
He slumped unconscious at the wheel and they couldn't rouse him.
They couldn't rouse him?
They couldn't rouse him.
If that happens, have a cuddle and then try again in half an hour.
I mean, he's sort of following the Pete Doherty school of driving, which is just get in a car and just get nicked. I don't know who the hell insures Pete Doherty. How does he get car insurance?
Well, he said to the police, he said, I'm not that much of a junkie anyway, didn't he? Maybe that's how he got car insurance. Not too much of a junkie.
But the other weird thing about Pete Doherty is he's the fattest heroin addict in the world. What's he cutting it with? Utterly butterly? Right, well, let's have a look and see whether George Michael is in our top 5 most talked about things. Yes, it is. People were talking about George Michael's drug bust. George Michael couldn't believe his luck when a man in uniform walked up to his car, knocked on the window and said, "Excuse me, sir, would you mind blowing into this?" George Michael spent yesterday caged in handcuffs and leather restraints, being brutalised by a police truncheon. He's relaxing at home. Dave, over to you. What else have the nation been talking about? What do you
Is
think?
it that Lib Dem man? They've got a leader now, haven't they? Ming Campbell. But the thing that gets me is why does he call himself Ming when it's Menzies? And he said that because it's Menzies, it's M-E-N-Z-I-E-S, and he said, oh, in the Celtic language, we don't mention the Z. I'm thinking, well, you're in the English language now. I didn't know we could make our own language up. Do you know what I mean? It's like me saying, oh, well, I'm going to add an E on it and call him Minge.
When Ming Campbell was announced as the new leader, Charles Kennedy was the first to toast the news. Although, to be honest, that was just a happy coincidence. Did you know, for example, 14% of cat owners think their cat is more important than their job? And the thing is, if they think that, they're probably right. Most deaths in hospitals are between the hours of 3 and 4 in the afternoon. All I'm saying is, it's only a countdown conundrum. Don't have a stroke about it. And the average man will spend 2,965 hours shaving during his lifetime. It's the bit round the balls that takes the time. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the public's top 5 most popular talking points. Christian, Sean and Les, what have the nation been talking about this week?
I think definitely the ongoing Tessa Jowell story. She's left her husband now, or separated from him.
Yeah, I think you can be a bit hard on Tessa Jowell, though, because, I mean, the point is that she didn't know about the gift, and she didn't know that her mortgage had been paid off, and she didn't actually know she was married to David Mills until she read about it in the Sunday Times.
The thing is that, I mean, some people say that did they split up genuinely, or is it an attempt to save her career? Apparently, what really tipped the balance was when she found out for the last 10 years he hasn't been sending off the pools coupons. He's been pocketing the money.
He's obsessed with money, isn't he? Because he's married a woman called Tessa.
Let's do this!
Aren't we asking quite a lot of our politicians to actually notice £350,000 in their bank account?
For some of us, it's a lot of money. Channel 4 News, they paid a big bucks.
But as relationship blunders go, it's quite serious, isn't it? It's not like he's come home pissed and had a slash in the wardrobe.
Sure.
You know, you could get over that. He's ruined her career. You know, that's quite a serious thing to do, isn't it? Ruin someone's career. You can't make that up with, you know, breakfast in bed.
Politicians ruin their own careers by going on Big Brother.
Would you like me to be the cat?
Yeah, OK.
Tonight's going to be a very different kind of 8 out of 10 cats. Did you like the fellow? Did you like George Galloway?
At first, I thought he was like really crafty, he had like shifty eyes and everything, but he completely changed my mind about him by cheating and lying, and then I realised that from my gut instinct he was a very horrible man. And do you know what?
So sorry, at first you thought he had shifty eyes, and then you realised he was horrible. You really changed your mind, yeah, didn't you?
I realised he was horrible, then I realised that he was actually all right, but he weren't all right, because he turned out that he was actually horrible.
When someone changes your mind, you've got to end up in a different place than when you started. That's the whole nature of changing one's mind.
Do you know what the funny thing is? I was on a shoot today, right, and I come out, right, on... no, not like that,
I'm living the dream.
I am living the dream. Hey, right, I am living the dream, but I walked out, right, on a street, a London street, with no one else around, and who do I bump into?
Was it Batman?
No, George Galloway.
Yeah, because he's following you. Was he in the back of a van with some binoculars? Oh, what a coincidence, Chantal.
How was it when you bumped into George, then? Did you...
It's just, he asked me how my nan was, which was the first question that came out of his mouth.
How was your nan?
My nan's fine.
Are you sure that isn't just a slang expression he uses? How's your nan?
There's some place they call it a pitter.
Well, let's have a look if Tessagel is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, it is. 12% of British men admit having been reduced to tears during a shopping trip. True or false?
I only cried once, and it's when I went to DFS and bought a sofa full price.
The one day of the year.
I've been very upset by stuff I've bought. I fell out with this girlfriend of mine because you know, she's getting really upset because she thinks there's a big difference between, like, semi-skimmed and banana-flavoured milk.
12% of British men admit having been reduced to tears during a shopping trip. True or false? What do you think?
We all think it's true.
You think it's true? Well, I'm afraid you're wrong. Actually, just 3% of men have broken down and cried during a shopping trip. In their defence, they were shopping for their wife's coffin. It's the one she would have wanted. What, the first one you saw? Yeah. Did you know, for example, 36% of people think the best way to dump someone is over the phone? Please press 1 for it's not you, it's me. 2 for we can still be friends, and 3 for I'm sorry, I've got your mum pregnant. 25% of men pretend to be asleep if they hear a strange noise in the night. I can't get to sleep sometimes because there's this strange bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. I asked my girlfriend, is there a fly in here? And she said, yes, yes, yes! And 73% of dieters abandon their diet at the weekend. And there's a special name for those dieters. Fat people. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. John's team, what do you think the nation have been talking about?
What have you been chatting about?
On Tuesday, England won the World Cup, didn't they?
England! England! Hey! Who are you?
Henning, so you've lived... How long have you lived in the UK?
Since 2002. So I've seen them win many, many World Cups. I don't enjoy football as much as I used to, because our German side, we're rubbish these days. We have not won a major tournament for 17 years. Haven't been to a final of one for about 5 years. To a semi-final of one for practically 18 months. So.
Can I remind you you're a guest here?
Yeah,
You a big football fan, Helen?
Yeah, I like football. I think it can be quite exciting. But I've been away, so I haven't actually caught up with the news. So they had this. They had a game that basically got them towards the World Cup. Yeah. So who was that against?
It was against... They beat Leeds. They beat Leeds.
No, they didn't. So it was England
played against Jossie's Giants.
No. Who did England play against? England played against...
Count Duculus 11.
Well, let's have a look and see if it's up there. Yes, this is the news that the England football team has won a short holiday in Brazil. So England beat Poland in the football, while Poland beat England in the putting up shelves and the child minding. This week, the new president of the RSPB encouraged people to eat animals killed by the roadside. So we asked our studio audience, would you eat roadkill, yes or no?
At the moment, yeah, I would eat it raw off the pavement. I haven't eaten meat for a while and I'm gagging for some. So if it died by accident or of laughter, I will eat it raw. I've eaten flies when I've been on my bike.
Well, it depends on where you live, isn't it? Like, if you live in America, of course you eat roadkill. Because you drive into bears or moose or... So, like, proper big animals where there is a good steak on them. But over here, essentially, well, all you have is hedgehogs or something, and there's just nothing on them. So, and then just squashed into the tarmac, and so it's more road than kill.
OK, so we asked our studio audience, would you eat roadkill, yes or no? What are you going to go with, John?
People don't eat bruised fruit, do they? So they're not going to eat a smattered rabbit.
That's a very good point. OK, so you're saying no. What are you going to say, Sean?
Well, I think most people wouldn't. I mean, I would.
Seriously?
Yeah, I would, yeah. I would. Well, as long as I knew it was fresh, and if it's wrong to drive around an owl sanctuary with a cricket bat... guilty as charged. Lock me up and throw away the key, why don't you? Got a luminous cricket bat at night time.
That's a show I'd watch instead of X Factor.
We're going to say yes.
OK, I can tell you the answer is no. 61% of our studio audience would not eat roadkill. You're right. So you say you wouldn't eat roadkill, but if you've ever eaten at a Little Chef, chances are you probably already have. Did you know, for example, 10% of British people let their pet sleep in their bed? There's nothing more relaxing than waking up in the night to feel the weight of your dog on your chest, to feel his fur, hear his gentle panting, and sense his eyes staring at you in the darkness. Until you realise, hang on a minute, I haven't got a dog. 54% of teenagers never go to the cinema. Really? Where do they make their phone calls? And 25% of Brits rate themselves 10 out of 10 in the bedroom. I'd give myself 9.9 because I fell over on the dismount. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. John's team, what do you think people have been talking about this week?
I don't really talk to people. Tend to move away when
We put 2 girls on your team this week because we thought it would force you to talk to girls.
OK. Hey.
All right, John. Yeah.
Girls.
John. What about Tesco saying that we're throwing away, is it 2/3 of our food that we buy?
phenomenal.
So much wasted food.
Yeah, well, specifically, it's the bagged salad. They reckon 2/3 of it goes in the bin. Tess, do you waste any food?
Well, I try not to, but yeah, hands up, I'm guilty of occasionally throwing away a bag of salad that's gone past its sell-by date.
You've got kids, give it to them.
Well, I do.
Whatever you and Vernon don't have, throw to them.
I do. And if it's not them, it's the dog. But occasionally you do find yourself throwing stuff away, don't you?
The thing is the labelling, isn't it? Because they say bag salad, mixed leaves, but actually that's not accurate, is it? It should be mixed leaves stroke compost. That's what it is. You're basically buying a bag of compost. Because sometimes, you know, it's gone off by the time you got it home. I go through red lights just to get the food home so I can eat it. Have a picnic in the car park.
I think there's a smell test where we all believe the best before date, just give it a sniff. If you're not sick in your mouth, it's fine.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of waste, 2/3 of everything you eat, but I thought about it, it's true, because I've got an example of, like, if I'm eating a packet of 3 Scotch eggs, I'll eat 1 and throw the other 2 at cyclists.
Do you waste food?
I do waste food. I'm really bad. I'm a bit obsessive about the dates. So I'm always the one who looks at the date and it says it runs out on the 23rd, so I can't eat it. Because if it's off, then I might want to be sick or something. So,
Christian, you've been reading the news and all these stories about, you know, conspiracies too long. It's planned. Years ago, there was a flood in Honduras and a woman was in a tree giving birth to a baby. A helicopter came along and pulled her out of the tree as she gave birth to the baby, and she was put into the helicopter with the umbilical cord still attached, and they both survived. Your bag salad isn't going to kill you.
I feel that story might have been a sledgehammer to crack a nut there, really. There was a helicopter and a flood in Honduras to get him to eat some salad. OK, let's have a look and see what's up there. Yes, Tesco has revealed the extent of food wastage in the country. According to the survey, 53% of food in this country goes to waste. The rest goes to hips and bums. Right, girls? A doner kebab pot noodle contains 22% of the recommended daily calorie intake of a recently divorced man. An octopus has 3 hearts. Perhaps that's why they're so clingy. It takes just 2 days for a T-bone steak to dissolve in a can of Coke, and I'm pretty sure that is how they make Dr. Pepper. And your mouth produces 1.8 pints of saliva every day, or half as much as Cheryl Cole's yoga instructor. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation, and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Jason.
Well, it's got to be Michael Jackson's funeral, hasn't it?
What, sorry? Is he dead? Did you watch it?
Oh, I caught the last half hour. Thought it was quite nice. I mean, everyone's been slagging it off, saying it was a bit, you know, a bit cheesy and that, but if you could have Stevie Wonder singing at your funeral, you'd have him, wouldn't you? I mean, you'd rather it was your 40th, but, you know, you'd have him, wouldn't you? The weirdest thing was all the fans. There was, like, millions of fans dressed up like Michael Jackson. Now, can you imagine being at your nana's funeral, right? You're just coming out and everyone's dressed like her. You're like...
The thing that I love is how people forget about the bad stuff with the kids.
Oh, yeah!
Oh,
that.
it was nice, though. It did really good music. It's like, when anyone dies, that's always what happens. Like, this man murdered 20 prostitutes. Ah, but he was good at macrame. So,
I'll be honest with you, I think when glitter goes, people will remember the bad stuff. Kelly, did you watch it?
I thought the whole thing was a bit much, to be honest. I mean, all of his brothers wearing the glove.
Do you notice the detail of that? Because they clearly bought 5...
I know, someone told me this, I thought it was so funny. Instead of buying each one of them a right or a left-handed glove, they bought, like, 6 pairs and split them between 12, so some of them had them on the left hand and some of them had them on it.
Reg, did you watch it?
I came in about halfway through, and first half hour, I thought it was about like some kind of music competition. And,
were you voting at home?
Wow, it's a concert, man. I started watching it, and then they flashed on the coffin, and I was like, oh, Michael Jackson dead.
But did you expect Simon Cowell to press a button and go,
Yeah, well, I love that Shaheen. He was on it, wasn't he?
He was going to play with Michael Jackson at the O2. Let's have a look and see whether Michael Jackson's one of the most talked about things this week. Of course it is. Yes. Yes, Michael Jackson's funeral took place this week. 12-year-old Britain's Got Talent finalist Shaheen Jaffagoli performed at Jackson's funeral. He raised the roof of the Staples Centre and the lid of the coffin.
I think it's that they make you feel old. I mean, like 10 years ago, I'd have gone in and I looked round to see if there was any, you know, nice-looking girls to have a chat to. Now, I'll go in and I look around to see if there's anywhere to sit. The music's so loud that you're shouting, and then suddenly in some of the songs there's just a silent bit, and then you end up going, I've never killed since. Just really loud.
I mean, I worked in nightclubs for years, and one of the weird things is when I've had guys come round to me. They say, I'm serious. A guy come up to me, and this is the worst one. It's when they go, "Are you that twat, Terry Christian?" And you just don't know what the right answer is, do you?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am that twat. Terry Christian would be the correct answer. The average sofa will witness 300 arguments, over 1,000 cuddles and 1,500 spillages. An argument that leads to a cuddle that leads to a spillage. That is a great Saturday night in. Only 20% of us can remember the name of the first person we kissed. I can't believe anyone could forget the name Arkayla. The average golfer spends £2,000 a year on their hobby. No wonder, with so little money left over, they have to steal their clothes from the bins behind the circus. It's a joke about golfers dressing like pimps. And, according to research, the average household eats 8.4 kilograms of sausages a year. Surely that's bollocks. And, of course, lips and arseholes and eyelids. But mainly bollocks. Right, let's get started. Sean, Holly and Greg, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Is it Kraft? Kraft have bought Cadbury's, the big American cheese manufacturing company, have bought our English chocolate company. It's a sorry state of affairs. Pretty much every English business is now in foreign hands. Soon, there'll just be, like, fishermen's friends left. No one's going to buy that, are they?
They're not going to mix the cheese and the chocolate together, though, are they? They're not going to...
Oh, I hope so.
It's not like a Cadbury's...
I hope so.
Cadbury's, like, cream cheese egg.
Yeah.
So,
No.
It tastes better, actually, to be honest.
Pint and a half of Dairy Lee go into every bar.
Whisper will definitely change, because they can't fucking whisper, can they, Americans? And they can't say curly-whirly, can they? Try saying curly-whirly in an American accent.
Curly-whirly.
Curly-whirly.
I want a curly-whirly.
It works.
Curly-whirly.
I love the curly-whirlies.
Yeah.
It works. I like it better now.
Do you? I feel really stupid now.
Yeah.
No, but I tell you who's going to suffer the worst, the Oompa Loompas. They haven't got transferable skills.
That's it.
I heard that Cadbury's have got their own tang. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Apparently White Lightning Cider have got their own tang. No houses, just a river of piss.
I think White Lightning's town is Glasgow. Let's have a look and see whether Kraft's takeover of Cadbury's is one of the most talked about things this week. It is. Yes, this is the news that American company Kraft has completed its takeover of Cadbury's. This time next year, the workforce will be half the size, or as Kraft are calling it, fun size. Cadbury's share price soared for a few minutes, then crashed and felt a bit depressed, and then reached for another dairy milk and felt much better. 54% of our audience said they believe in extraterrestrials. Robbie Williams, Uri Geller, Krista Berg, Gloria Honeyford, David Icke, Danny Dyer, Howard from the Halifax ads. They all believe in aliens. Can they all be wrong? I don't believe in aliens, but then again, it's no surprise, because I also don't believe in gnomes, fairies, trolls, orcs, goblins, Jesus, unicorns, dragons, mermaids, wizards, werewolves, or meerkats. American research has suggested that all Englishmen are oppressed and uptight. When I read that, I was angry and upset, but I managed to hide it. There is a stereotype that suggests the most common crime in Wales is sheep shagging. Not the case. It's actually ram raiding. Newcastle is the only major city in the UK without a red light district, and I'll tell you why. No need. And if you're watching in Norfolk, hello. I'm not being patronising. I just thought I'd show you what a normal hand looks like. Let's get started. Fingers on buzzers.
Cowell, we haven't said Cowell properly, have we?
Simon Cowell in The Greatest Britain.
Yeah.
He was voted 33 in the worst Britons, and
Yeah.
his first 20 were serial killers.
Times have changed. You know, Britain's Got Talent is supposed to show us that any talentless dick can make it big, and he's an ambassador for that, isn't he?
Well, let's have a look and see whether Simon Cowell is one of the greatest living Britons.
No way. God, he is.
Yeah. Simon Cowell was voted the 5th greatest living Briton. Through his television work, Cowell has amassed a £200 million fortune. Throw in the profits from Leon Jackson's album, and he's never short of change either. Simon Cowell spends £500,000 every year on his own personal security. £500,000 on personal security. That is an incredible amount of money. Has Simon not considered being less of a We've got one more person to get. Fingers on buzzers. Oh, go on.
I'm going to go for the guy Banksy. Do you know the graffiti artist?
It can't be Banksy, though, can it? Because he's not British. Because Banksy, everyone knows, is Rolf Harris. It's Rolf. It's Rolf having a bit of fun.
He shouldn't be on it, because going around painting stuff on walls, some of the stuff he's done some really cruel, practical jokes. So, like on the West Bank, painting a ladder up the wall, he's taking the piss, isn't he? That's like when Terry Waite was handcuffed to a radiator, sneaking in the night and painting a little key just out of his reach.
I can tell you that Banksy was not in the top 5, but he was on the longer list. I personally prefer art that makes you think. Would a Labrador really try and bluff a Spaniel with a pair of 3s? So 66% of Londoners think their city is a good place to what?
Meet the other 34%.
You're sort of on the right line, sir. It's to do with meeting someone special.
A good place to fall in love.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah,
Get
good.
out.
66% of Londoners think their city is a good place to find love. The last relationship I had, I ruined by blurting out "I love you" too early, which gave away the fact I was hiding behind the curtains. Most desirable place to live in the UK.
Country.
Cown. I'd like to live next to a landfill site, right? Because when you finish your dinner, you can just go to your back garden and just scrape it over the fence into the landfill.
Is it Alton Towers?
That's a
How
good
would
answer.
that be? Just before all the queues got there, you could go on Rita as many times. Well, that's the ride, isn't it? But, you know, all the...
I'm going to say, and this isn't because I do the adverts on television, I'm entirely impartial, but I'm going to say Wales.
No. No, it isn't.
Northampton, middle of England.
I think it's either Cheddar, Wensleydale, or Stilton. But not Leicester, don't like that. No flavour.
Is it Cornwall?
Cornwall.
Cornwall is the right answer. They got it first. Yes, the most desirable place to live in the UK is Cornwall. Getting to Cornwall is easy. Straight down the M4, then the M5, then it's the A roads, then bam! 6 hours later, you're nearly there. English people moan for 100 minutes a day, a unit of time known as an EastEnders omnibus. According to a recent survey, Bombay is the rudest city in the world because it sounds like Bombay. And why isn't Bangkok on that list? And the film with the most swear words is Sex in the City. Well, it was when I fucking watched it. Let's get started. Jason, Lauren, David, what do people find irritating, annoying and offensive?
Can I just say good luck, Jimmy, and have a great show, yeah?
Yeah, thanks, man.
Have a really great show, yeah?
Yeah, you too. That is quite an offensive and irritating thing, isn't it?
Is it the fact that people are so obsessed by celebrities?
Yeah. There's people in the papers all the time for shagging and that.
I know.
I mean, like Jordan has been the big one recently because she's remarried in Vegas. I mean, personally, I think it's clearly a love match that's going to work out. You know, she's a best-selling author, a writer. I wish her all the best.
Yeah.
Well, but does she write... you know, and she's written all these books. A lot of celebrity autobiographies are no holds barred. Hers are no holes barred.
I thought you were talking about me.
Because I've written books, and I've had sex with celebrities, so...
You have had sex with?
All of them.
You've had sex with all of them?
Yes.
Oh.
Several times. You're next.
Who have you had sex with?
OK, you haven't read my books?
I've read your books,
Of course
Dennis.
not. Oh. OK, name names.
Liam Neeson.
Yes.
Sly Stallone.
Yes.
They're the two biggies in the book.
They weren't that biggie.
Let's just forget the show. Let's just talk about this.
Who else was on the list? Mick
Jack
Jagger?
Nicholson. But I dated these
Jack
men...
Nicholson?
Yes.
Well done.
Have you really shagged Jack Nicholson?
Yes.
What was he like?
The Joker was wild.
Nice.
The Joker was what? She's even got a line on it. Let's have a look and see whether our obsession with celebrities has annoyed the public. Yes, the thing that offends us most is celebrity culture. These days, people want the rewards of being a celebrity without the long, hard slog of having to go out with David Williams. Most hated profession.
Sniper. No, you know, when you're just going down the shops, aren't you? Oh, well! How about popcorn sellers at cinemas? How much? Popcorn?
That's my favourite thing about going to the cinema. Like, trying to keep a straight face when you go £8.50 for a Coke and popcorn.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's very reasonable.
It's hyperinflation, isn't it? It's like...
You've not been to a normal shop.
I don't think they should sell popcorn. Popcorn's too noisy for the cinema. It's too... Oh, that's all you can hear.
Who's
Yeah,
taking
exactly.
noise a bit too seriously?
Yeah. It's too bloody noisy.
Yeah.
For the cinema and for the quiet carriage.
Mr.
They
Turnaround.
should only sell flumps. That's all they should be allowed, flumps.
Janice, most hated profession? What do you think?
Parking ticket guys.
Correct answer.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, the most hated profession is traffic wardens. I get confused by the different titles. There's traffic warden, civil enforcement officer, parking attendant. Someone needs to come up with a blanket term for these arseholes. Did you know, for example, the average sofa will witness 300 arguments, over 1,000 cuddles and 1,500 spillages? An argument that leads to a cuddle that leads to a spillage. That is a great Saturday night in. The biggest participation sport in the world is fishing. Of course, a lot of the participants are fish, and they're not happy about it. In a recent survey, 80% of Scottish men claim they regularly surf the web, until they were told that the fruit machine in the chippy is not actually part of the internet. 7% of 80-year-olds have used email, and it's even better for them because they love spam. And 9% of people regard their work as meaningless. Right, let's get on with this celebrity panel show about opinion poll surveys and statistics. Jason, your team to go first. Jamelia, Charlie, what have the nation been talking about?
It's got to be snow, hasn't it?
It's absolutely got to be.
And what's funny is it's become a national story now. It's hit London. But we've had it for ages in the northwest. We've had it since about 1984.
Luckily, you don't go on about it.
You're enjoying it right now. You're at a stage where you're like, oh, look at it, it's all white, so we can build snowmen, and don't our gardens look like everyone else? Hell is coming, London. Hell is coming.
I've got no heating in my house, though.
No heating in your house?
No heating in my house.
You can't work the buttons, can you?
Basically.
You just press everything.
You know this.
Lights coming on.
How do you know that?
Shutters in the garage going...
Have you been out and done a snowman? Have you done a snowman, Sean?
I haven't done a snowman, no.
What are you suggesting?
You won't touch a snowman.
What do I do a snowman for? What sort of dirty bastard? Even if I wanted to, I don't think I could.
This is the news that the UK is still in the midst of the coldest winter for 30 years. A headmaster in Hampshire claims some pupils are struggling to make it into school because of the bad weather. He said of the 320 sitting maths A-level, 280 were in the exam hall when the exam started. Another 30 turned up 20 minutes later. 4 people went to the toilet, but only 3 returned. Then 42 left the building. How many were there at the end of the exam? Many people in the north have been bulk buying food because they're fat, greedy bastards.
What's that about? Well, just because people are buying milk and bread, we like milky bread. What's that?
Milky bread, yeah, bulk buying in Greggs.
We love it. Greggs is still open. They don't care if it's snowing. It's great. You can just slide straight in and put a pasty straight in your mouth.
And former government spin doctor Alistair Campbell has appeared in front of the Iraq inquiry. Sadly, the inquiry failed to ask Alistair Campbell the key question we all wanted to know the answer to. How do you sleep at night, you fucking monster? Did you know, for example, koalas are asleep 80% of the time? So keep it down. 91% of people over 60 think we show less respect for each other than we did in the past. Silly old fuckers. And a single kiss can contain 40,000 parasites, 250 types of bacteria, and up to 0.45 grams of fat. A French kiss is the same, but it can also contain dog shit and garlic. Let's get started. OK, there's one more thing in the news.
It's Mother's Day on Sunday. People have been talking about that. I bought a card today. It's the biggest rip-off in the world. It's cards. They've invented occasions. I mean, Mother's Day is pretty legitimate, but I mean, happy bonfire night. You think happy bonfire night, congratulations on your first shag. How irritating you've got thrush. Things like that. And
Congratulations on your hung jury. That's always a nice one.
Well, I got to the till and I went, I'll have that card, please. Nice card, it's got roses on it. She went, that'll be £3.99. Isn't it fucking won't? For a bit of card, it's for a bit of £3.99. I went to Boots next door and I got a gift voucher, £1, and you get a card with it. So. And you don't have to send a gift voucher, you just send a card. Go back in next week with another £1. Have a gift voucher, please. There you go.
What are you getting your mum for Mother's Day? Sorry, that was in English, wasn't it?
Yeah. She might want to keep it a secret. She doesn't want her mum to know. That's why she's...
I don't know whether Maggie watches this. I'm pretty sure she doesn't. Well, I can tell you Mother's Day is not on the list. It's one of the smaller stories this week. Of course, everyone loves their mum, even if they've done really bad things, like systematically dismantle the unions or destroy the welfare state or go to war to win an election. Fingers on buzzers. Any other idea what's in the top 5?
Is it the story about the teacher who's suing for sexual discrimination because she was given a humorous chair? She had a flatulent chair, a chair that made fart noises when she sat in it. She said she was deliberately given this chair to undermine her position.
Apparently, this happened for 4 years. So you'd think, after 6 months, she might get another chair.
But sorry, for 4 years?
4 years, apparently, this happened.
She said she had to constantly go explain it. She goes, so it's not me, it's the chair. Occasionally she'd go, that was me.
The trouble is she wasn't taken seriously. I mean, she went to the governors and said, look, my chair farts. And they went, who smelled it out?
I've got the picture. Do you want to see it?
Have you got it?
Yeah, have a look.
The face,
She looks
the expression
worried.
there.
She looks like she's holding a fart in.
Well, let's have a look and see if the farting chair is up there. Amazingly, it's one of the most talked about things this week. This is the story about a teacher who sued her school because they gave her a farting chair. She had made a really convincing case for herself at the tribunal until she let one rip and blew the judge's wig off. Half of Britain's school children don't know where ham comes from. Birmingham? Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Dave, Johnny, Rob, what have the nation been talking about this week?
Snow. The worst blizzards in Scotland for 10 years or something. 5,000 houses without power, wasn't it? Glasgow airport shut. That called a bloke in Glasgow with a coat on. That cold. There is a serious message, because it is cold. If you know an old person lives near you, on their own, nip round, pop in, use their heating. They get an allowance off the government.
Do people really talk about the snow, though?
Oh, yeah.
Ring up north. They're all talking about it up there.
Christian, have you got any idea what's going on?
I can't understand a word they're saying. Straight though.
Even me?
I just need your PIN number.
All right.
For a good cause.
Okay.
We love the snow in the north, though, don't we? Actually love the snow. As soon as it comes down, we're out there, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Come again?
We love the snow. We love the snow.
The Pope's coming.
No, we're not moving on to that until we've covered snow.
It's white. It's basically a hard version of rain. And when he passed me test 5 months ago, I didn't know you had to take it off the windscreen. To me, it was a magical adventure into Narnia.
Let's have a look and see if snow is one of the top 5 talking points this week. Yes, it is!
Hey. So excited.
Yes, everyone's been talking about the cold weather bringing parts of the country to a standstill this week. During the cold snap, gas prices have more than doubled. On the upside, it looks like the pension crisis might be over. Sean, Christian Slater and Lauren Laverne, what have the nation been talking about?
Let's see, the Garrick Theatre, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I don't know.
I think they've been talking about the scandal of the Labour Party selling peerages for cash. Selling peerages, which is, I think, it's very strange, is that selling membership to a club which they've said they're going to disband quite soon. It seems a bit stupid. Do you want to join our club? Yeah, we are getting rid of it quite soon.
You could be Sir Christian Slater for 10 grand.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
That's all it
about
costs.
$1 million. It's about $1 million.
It's about $1 million. Oh, forget it.
Well, I thought about doing that. I thought about doing that because you could take out, you could borrow £1 million, lend it to the Labour Party at the same interest rate you're paying, right? And then you're a lord, and when the bank phone up for the money, you go, do you have any idea who you're speaking to?
£500,000 Michael Flatley paid just to be Lord of the Dance. If he'd have paid a bit more, he could have used his arms. He didn't pay enough, that's it.
Well, let's have a look and see whether Labour selling peerages is one of the top 5 stories this week. Yes, it is. Yes, Labour have been accused of selling peerages by exploiting a loophole where they accept loans instead of donations. They've been defended by a number of leading peers, Baroness Claims Direct, Sir Ocean Finance and the Earl of Cornhill. But most embarrassingly, by Lord Archer. I hope you enjoyed those clips. If you want to watch full episodes of 8 Out of 10 Cats, then you can on my YouTube channel. Just, search for it on YouTube and you'll find it, because it's there.